Imagine you are the most powerful man on earth.
You command the greatest army ever assembled. Your word is law. Yet, every night, you sit alone in your tent, writing to yourself, not about conquests or gold, but about how to remain a good man in a world of chaos. This was the life of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and the last of the 5 good emperors. His private journals, known today as meditations, were never meant to be published. They were a guide to his own soul. In a world that feels increasingly out of control, the wisdom of this ancient warrior philosopher is more relevant than ever. Today, we dive deep into the Stoic guide to mastering your mind and finding peace in the middle of the storm. If you feel overwhelmed by life, this video is for you. Before we get into the lessons, we must understand the core of Stoicism. It isn't about suppressing emotions or becoming a robot. It's about understanding the difference between what we can control and what we cannot. Marcus Aurelius lived through plagues, wars, and betrayals. Yet he believed that our suffering doesn't come from the events themselves, but from our judgment of them. As he famously wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The first step to mastering your mind is simple but brutal. Stop worrying about things you can't change: the weather, the economy, or what your neighbor thinks of you. These are outside your control. What is in your control? Your thoughts, your intentions, and your reactions. When you stop fighting the waves and start steering your ship, the world loses its power to hurt you. Marcus started his day with a reality check. He told himself, "Today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, and ill will." He wasn't being a pessimist, he was preparing his mind. By expecting the worst from people, he ensured that nothing could disturb his inner peace. This is the secret to emotional stability in a chaotic world. This leads us to perhaps the most famous Stoic concept: the obstacle is the way. Every problem is an opportunity. If someone is rude to you, it's an opportunity to practice patience. If you fail, it's an opportunity to learn resilience. Marcus said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your mind has the power to turn every negative situation into a positive growth moment. Don't just tolerate your life, love it. This is amor fati, or the love of fate. Every struggle, every heartbreak, and every victory has made you who you are today. The Stoics believed in accepting everything that happens as if you had chosen it yourself. This is the ultimate form of mental mastery. When you stop wishing things were different, you become invincible. Finally, Marcus reminds us of our mortality through memento mori. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't morbid, it's a call to action. When you realize that your time is limited, you stop wasting it on trivial things. You focus on what truly matters. You stop letting the small things master your mind because you are focused on the greatness of the present moment. Mastering your mind is not a one-day task. It is a lifelong practice. Marcus Aurelius wrote these reminders to himself every single day. If you want to start your journey into Stoicism, pick one lesson from this video and apply it today. Maybe it's letting go of someone's opinion, or maybe it's facing a challenge with a smile. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing to Mind Authority. We explore the greatest minds in history to help you build a stronger version of yourself. Which Stoic lesson resonated with you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Stay strong, stay stoic, and remember, the power is always within you.
But mastering the mind goes even deeper than understanding your reactions. It requires a complete shift in how you perceive the entire universe. Marcus often practiced what philosophers call the view from above. Imagine zooming out from your current problem. Zoom out of your room, your city, your country, and finally, look at the entire Earth from space. In the grand scale of the universe, your anxiety about a deadline or a social interaction becomes a tiny, invisible speck. This isn't to say your feelings don't matter, but it reminds you that most of what we stress about is incredibly small in the vastness of time. When you change your perspective, you change your reality. Now, consider the concept of the inner citadel. Marcus believed that everyone has a fortress inside their mind that no enemy can ever conquer unless you let them in. People can hurt your body, they can take your money, and they can ruin your reputation, but they cannot touch your character or your soul without your permission. You are the sole guardian of this fortress. Every time you react with anger or fear, you are opening the gates. Stay inside your citadel. Stay calm, stay rational, and let the chaos of the world break against your walls like waves against a rock. In your daily life, you will constantly face difficult people. In the busy streets of Rome, just like the busy streets of modern cities today, Marcus faced betrayal and ignorance. He taught us that when someone harms you, they do so because they are mistaken about what is good and bad. They are spiritually blind. Instead of getting angry, try to feel pity for them. Why would you be angry at a blind person for bumping into you? By seeing difficult people as confused rather than evil, you protect your own peace. You stop being a victim of their behavior and start being a master of your own empathy. True mental mastery also requires self-discipline in the smallest acts. Marcus struggled with getting out of bed on cold mornings, just like many of us do. He wrote to himself, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being." He believed we were born to work with others and to fulfill our purpose. True freedom isn't doing whatever you want. True freedom is having the discipline to do what you know is right, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is the bridge between your current self and the person you are meant to become. Another powerful tool is the practice of negative visualization. Most modern self-help tells us to think positive. The Stoics did the opposite. They practiced premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Take a moment to imagine losing the things you love the most, your job, your health, or even a loved one. It sounds dark, but it has a powerful effect. It removes the shock if something bad happens, and more importantly, it makes you incredibly grateful for what you have right now. You stop taking your life for granted. You start living with intensity and deep appreciation. In a world that never stops talking, the Stoic finds power in silence. Marcus was a man of few words but great action. He believed that we should only speak if it improves the silence. Before you speak, ask yourself, is this true? Is this kind? Is this necessary? If not, stay silent. By mastering your tongue, you master your thoughts. You become an observer of life rather than a loud participant in its noise. Silence is not weakness. It is a sign of ultimate self-control. As we conclude this deep dive into the mind of the emperor, remember that Marcus Aurelius was not a saint. He was a human being with flaws, fears, and frustrations. The difference is that he used his mind as a laboratory for virtue. He treated every day as a new opportunity to be better than he was yesterday. Mastering your mind is not about reaching a destination where you never feel stress again. It is about building the strength to handle that stress with grace. It is about waking up every day and choosing to be the master of your soul rather than a slave to your circumstances. The journals of Marcus Aurelius have survived for 2,000 years because human nature hasn't changed. We still struggle, we still worry, and we still seek meaning. But now you have the tools of an emperor in your hands. Use them. Take a deep breath. Look around you. The world may be in chaos, but your mind can be a sanctuary of peace. If you've stayed with us for this entire journey, you are already ahead of most people. You are choosing growth over comfort. Subscribe to Mind Authority to continue this journey of self-mastery. We are building a community of modern Stoics, and we want you to be a part of it. Until next time, remember the words of the Emperor. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Choose your colors wisely. Stay strong, stay stoic, and remember, the power is always within you.